The Empty Room. Chapter 1. The Old Photograph. As I stood amidst the dusty attic of my childhood home, tracing the fingers over the weathered wooden frame of an old photograph, a shiver coursed through me. It was as if time had been frozen within its borders. Every detail so vividly captured in black and white that it seemed to hold its breath. The room depicted was identical to one I knew all too well, yet something about it sent icy tendrils down my spine. Shadows danced along the walls, casting an eerie glow from unseen sources, casting long silhouettes of furniture that looked both antique and timeless. A large wooden desk sat in the center with a lone chair drawn back, as if someone had recently risen from it. But what caught my breath was the young girl standing before it. Her porcelain skin, raven hair tied up in pigtails, gazing directly into the lens. Her eyes were an ethereal green that seemed to reach out, piercing through the veil of years and time. I clutched the photograph more tightly, unearthing memories long buried. Emma, my childhood self, stared back at me from within those haunting orbs. A faint smile curled her lips, and I could almost hear a soft whisper. "Don't let them take you." My name, spelled out in childish handwriting on the border of the picture. Who was she, and why did it feel so familiar? Intrigue piqued, I couldn't resist recreating this scene from my past in our house. Now empty, but for me, since my parents moved away to a distant city for work. My roommate had left for winter break, and the silence felt suffocating as the snow fell outside like delicate lace against the windows. The stillness was broken only by the occasional creaking of the old house. I gathered an array of furniture for my room, carefully arranging it in the same positions as depicted. A vintage desk inherited from Grandma, an armchair that had seen better days, and an antique mirror propped against a wall. The task seemed an act of nostalgia at first, yet each piece placed felt like a rite. Night descended, painting our home with shadows I'd never noticed before. The room stood bathed in moonlight, as if beckoning me towards its secrets. With every item secured, I posed in front of the mirror, tried to mimic Emma's posture. As my eyes met hers, I froze. A sudden gust of wind swept through the attic door, slamming it shut with an ominous thud. Whispers began, a soft susurrus that sounded like "Don't let them take you." The words echoed in my mind long after I'd left the room, unable to shake their presence. I huddled beneath the blankets that night, haunted dreams plaguing me. In the early morning hours, something awakened me, the sound of shuffling outside my door. It creaked open with an unsteady slowness. A chill crept over my skin. I peered into the darkness as a single figure emerged. Emma's pigtails now wispy and unkempt, her dress a faded floral print. My pulse raced as she approached, eyes locked onto mine. "You shouldn't have done this," she whispered with a voice that wasn't quite there before disappearing like mist. With trembling hands, I ripped off the sheet covering the photograph and pinned it to my wall. An eerie presence lingering. Strange things persisted. Objects moved on their own. Shadows darted across walls when no light was present, while whispers persisted throughout the night. An inhuman chorus. The photograph became my solace and nightmare. By morning's dawn, I knew I had to understand its connection. Research began, scouring through faded albums, old letters from Grandma. There it was, a mention of an empty room filled with strange artifacts and Emma, the child who once occupied this place before me. Chapter 2. The Haunting Echoes. Days blurred as I delved into my family's history, uncovering tales of long-ago experiments gone wrong, an abandoned room at the heart of it all. The air grew heavy with each discovery. Late-night whispers intensified, no longer just echoes but distinct voices, pleading and menacing. Shadows seemed to move of their own accord. My research led me to a local library where I found a dusty tome, the Bellwood Manor. Its pages were filled with whispers of an alternate realm bridging our world. The room in the book was said to draw unsuspecting souls into it, leaving only echoes. A chill seeped into my bones as I realized my childhood home, this house inherited from Grandma Alice, held a piece of that realm. Desperate for answers, I ventured into the attic once more, armed with candles and a determination to unravel the mystery. The room was no longer empty when I arrived. Emma's chair occupied the center, and it sat hunched over an open book, pigtails now matted and her dress stained. Candles flickered as I watched, frozen. "It is not safe," she whispered before vanishing into thin air. My heart raced. Was I losing my mind, or was this a doorway between worlds? I returned to the attic at dusk, when shadows began dancing along walls once more. A book lay open on her chair. The Bellwood Manor by Agnes Bellwood, a local author from generations past. The text spoke of an ancient ritual performed in that same empty room to connect our dimensions and bridge worlds. My mind reeled with each passing sentence. I tried to brush it off as superstition, but the house creaked, floorboards groaning as if being traversed. Emma stood at the edge of the desk now, beckoning me closer. I approached cautiously. Her gaze bore into mine as an inky blackness loomed behind her. The room grew colder with each step. In that moment, I felt a chill not from the draft, but from something watching us both. "Leave while you still can." Emma's voice carried on the wind before she vanished once more. A gust of icy air caressed my neck as an unsettling presence enveloped me. My hands trembled holding Agnes Bellwood's book to the desk, the pages rustling with a life of their own. The attic became a sanctuary and prison, both beckoning and warning at once. Shadows coalesced around us, forming specters that seemed to whisper words from the Bellwood Manor. I deciphered an ancient rite to close the rift, but feared what might come through should it fail. Each night brought Emma closer, her presence growing tangible. She'd speak of distant worlds beyond our own in hushed tones, and a hunger for adventure. Yet there was darkness lurking beneath her eyes, a sorrow that pierced my soul. The lines between reality blurred. I could no longer ignore the allure of unraveling this mystery. Chapter 3. The Unseen Guest. I steeled myself to face what haunted us both. The secrets hidden within these walls. Emma materialized before me once more at dusk, no longer a specter, but a ghostly apparition. Together we ventured through the book's final pages, and an ancient ritual's symbols etched into my palm seemed to glow as our hands touched them. With each step towards the empty room, shadows grew darker. I steeled myself before entering, flashlight trembling in hand. Echoes of forgotten words hung in the air. "Don't let them take you." Emma trailed behind me, her ethereal form close. Inside the abandoned space lay relics from other worlds, artifacts glowing like cold embers. A doorway materialized where shadows merged. I knew what to do as a figure emerged, an interdimensional being of pure malice. The ritual ended abruptly. They could cross over. "They've taken you," it rasped before disappearing into a portal that opened wide enough for only one. Emma lunged forward, vanishing with a cry. I followed, drawn by her wails and the allure of understanding. I stepped across worlds as an uninvited guest. My life's purpose became bridging dimensions to save her from darkness, a bridge between realities where horrors thrived. Now, in this realm, I must navigate what lies beyond our world to rescue her. It wasn't just echoes. Something ancient stirred, hungering for connection with our reality. Echoes of forgotten worlds resounded within me as the door slammed shut behind us. In this new dimension, I had only a single ally, my own resolve and the Bellwood Manor to guide me through the unknown. The darkness waited patiently ahead, but so did Emma's rescue. Let the bridge begin its journey home with the echoes of those who crossed over prematurely.